This is the Sourceseeker Hour. I'm your host, Rudy Carl Alexander. This is our 102nd episode. We've been doing this for a while. Previously, I gave a count I had to correct because I went back and counted the episodes. This is 102, and a very important and appropriate one. So many things are happening in the world. So many things, you know. I was walking through the store one time. I know I've told the story, and a song came on, and I asked my daughter, I say, hey, I want to know who's singing that song. And she just put her phone up and asked Siri. I said, whoa. And the Siri told her who was singing the song and everything about it. So there's so many things happening. And I would like to share with our audience as many things as we can share about new technologies, new things happening, and what to look forward to in upcoming years, what to look forward to that's happening right now. I have two powerful guests with me. I have brother Moe Mccoy from Las Vegas. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. And I have my brother Moondog, Dwayne Andre, who's coming back in right now. And we're gonna let them introduce themselves. But in your introduction, I want you to share, is the storefront or home base, a facility, a physical facility, is that going out the way because you can communicate just like this show? Is that a physical place going out the window because you can do everything basically from your computer? And I'd like to introduce my guest, Brother Moe Mccoy. Can you introduce yourself and share what you think about that?
Yes, sir. My name is Moe Mccoy. I'm a filmmaker out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Make a lot of content out here, and got a YouTube channel. It's called Fireproof TV. So make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. As for physical locations, I believe that there's still going to be some physical locations. Not to say that the metaverse that's coming, there's going to be a lot you can do on there as well. But I don't think you can completely get rid of all storefronts because, you know, you got to think about other technologies such as Uber and Lyft. They have to pick people up and take them different places. There's industries that can't physically, you can't deliver somebody through the metaverse, not yet, at least, you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, technology is growing, and it's growing by the minute. So we gotta be part of the metaverse as well.
How has what you do been affected by the technologies, and what are some of the things that you see that you look forward to being able to do?
Well, I'm already doing most things online. I kind of did away with premieres. Well, I switched to premieres on the channel. So every Friday we drop a new product on Fireproof TV. So now we could have more premieres, and it doesn't cost us anything, as opposed to renting out a theater and meeting with physical people and worrying about COVID and mask and vaccines and things like that. So it's a lot easier for people to just tap in on their phone, their TV, or their smart device, and then they can watch our content.
I want to interject this though. You know, we started in the studio up to our 34th show, and a couple of my guests that have switched over with me to the Zoom presentation, they kind of telling me they like being in the studio because it felt more special, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have that population that really doesn't want to. Have you encountered that? Now, at the same time, there's a lot of people that like the comfort of it also, as opposed to not having to get up and drive to a physical spot. They can do it right there from their living room. So have you seen that? And what do you look at as far as that?
Well, our last premiere here in Las Vegas was in February, and the cost it took to get the venue, and then all the marketing and promotion we had to pour into it, which we could put those type of dollars into marketing online and go a million miles faster and further. So I had a good time on the red carpet, meeting with people. Even at this one, the owner of 88.1, the People Station out here, he showed up. The writer of Matrix and Terminator, she was there with her guests, and I met some very quality people in the industry at the premiere, and everybody dressed up, and that was a good time. I love to take pictures, so I think we'll have them every once in a while, but not as many as before.
So basically, it sounds like you may lose some that like that that physical outside presence, but then you may gain some. It has positive and negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Brother Andre, Brother Moondog, can you introduce yourself? And then what do you say about, is it necessary to physically have a facility, or can most things be done online? And what do the people you're interacting with say about that? You're on mute, brother. You're on mute. You're on mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you.
All right, what's up, man? It's your boy Moondog 3732 from the Moondog 3732 show on YouTube.com and the podcast. And
well, tell us what the show is about, and give us a little presentation of what you do there.
Let me break it down to you. Well, I originally started the show off by telling stories of how I grew up, my brother and I, my mom, my uncles, my cousins. A lot of people thought that the stories were hilarious and things like that. But I went from there, and I also branched off into interviewing Black-owned businesses. And then after I did that, I also branched off into doing topics about mental health with another co-host on her show. And then I branched off again and started doing another podcast. And the first season of our podcast was 22 episodes, and it was dealing with relationship situations from anywhere from how do you approach somebody into this Me Too movement situation, and to how do you actually build things, and what does it mean to build something? Because a lot of times we live through cliches without even thinking about what we're saying or how we're doing it.
So let me ask this. How has your audience responded? Are most things you do, you said through YouTube, are most things done online as a virtual presentation? You don't have them come into a studio or your place, your facility. So how is that working? How do you see it working in the future? How will you use technology, or the new technologies? How will you use those things to make it work?
Okay. Some of my audience and some of the people in which I have interviewed, some of them are cool with doing the we use like StreamYard, and with StreamYard we can be like, they can be at their home comfortable, I can be at my home, whatever. And some people actually want to be in your presence and get that feedback and the energy that you all have off each other and how it feeds. A lot of times when me and my co-host, we're in each other's presence, we can like read each other's body movements, we can read each other's language, body language, we can the tone of our voice, and they can also change the complexity or how the episode is going to go. But like y'all was saying, right now, the metaverse apparently seems like it's about to be the next big thing.
Speaking of which, can you share what you're talking about as far as you know, what you're talking about with the metaverse?
Okay. Okay, just from what I've seen so far, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, what they're doing right now, they're making a virtual world, so to speak. a few years ago, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, they bought this platform called Oculus. And Oculus is a virtual reality platform. They had the virtual reality headsets and things like that, right? And so now he's going, and they also introduced their own cryptocurrency at the time, which at the time, it didn't make sense to me. But now with the metaverse, I see all the moves in which he did. All the moves in which he did were very calculated. And now we're at the metaverse, which is now we're going to be in a virtual world. I can see it being used for some people that may be socially awkward. I can see it for some people that maybe want to like get away. They even did a movie about this a couple of years ago called Ready Player One, where you log in.
I saw that.
Right, and what you do, you're in a virtual world, but at the same time, we got to make sure that we don't get into this virtual world to the point that we forget about our real physical world and the positive of being in a physical situation.
So kind of seems like we talk now. First of all, like I got to say, I did see an article that Snoop Dogg has a plot or space in the virtual world, and people were trying. I think they were trying to buy spaces next to him, and the value of being next to somebody in the virtual world goes up and up. So this is something like a matrix, you know, something coinciding with the movie just coming out. What do you say about this virtual world, Brother Moe, that Brother Moondog talking about?
I want to be involved. I want a movie theater in the virtual world. I want a store, you know, maybe a grocery store, a gas station, a neighborhood, some projects. I want a little bit of everything.
For us lay people who are not, I mean, I can kind of see the concept. I mean, I assume you would be investing time and money. What is the value? What's going to come back to you for doing that? How is that going to work for the lay people? I mean, if I go in and create on a computer, I got a house, I got a store, and how is that going to work?
I think it would benefit you greatly. Somewhere to live, somewhere to do business, so people can spend their cryptocurrency with you for the things that are in your store.
Isn't it basically just another name for a website?
No,
kind of, sort of.
It's a bit much more than that. Before the internet was created, we didn't have the internet, and the internet was a disruptor. It disrupted the whole industry. You know what I mean? I think I was in junior high when it happened, and I was at school and they brought these new computers in, and you know everybody was kind of bummed out about having to use these. But I, on the other hand, was excited. I was like, this is something new. And then they said that they would, that we can get in touch with the whole world, the World Wide Web. That just stood out to me. I was like, okay, World Wide Web. So I could connect with people outside of my area here.
So I remember when I think I was in, I think I just graduated from college. I'm a little bit older than you. And, you know, as a writer, I'm saying, whoa, wait a minute. I can communicate, I can sit down, and then I can send these messages across this computer. I mean, that was groundbreaking, you know, but going back to the beeper, I thought that was groundbreaking too, you know, so, you know, don't just take my word for it. Brother Dre, there are so many different aspects of things happening. When you think about this virtual cyber world, you got to think about, of course, cybersecurity. That's very important, and that's always going to be important, you know, because there's so many ways. I'm just trying to give this example. You know, I work at a school, and of course, I got a home business and so forth. And if you're not careful, you can get these things connected and mixed up and all kinds of things and not even know how to get them untangled. So you got to have a little bit of understanding and so forth. But there are so many different aspects that you have to pay attention to. Now they are talking about making a business out of internet behaviors. You could track somebody's cookies and understand where their mind is, and how, of course, businesses are doing it every day, where they take a track of your cookies and things you visit, and they can kind of make a profile. And of course, there's businesses behind doing that. And they saying that is even going to grow much deeper and much more in context. And then the world for cloud specialists, and all of these different ASW, Assure, CCP, and all of those different ways are going to come in, and they're just going to blow this thing up. You were talking about cryptocurrency, and most people are still not sure. I mean, because basically you're talking about spaces on the digital network of the computer World Wide Web that they have put value on, but it's not even regulated yet. All that I'm sharing, what do you say about that, Brother Moe? Are you a little scared about all these things happening?
You want me to go, or you want Brother Moe to go?
I'm asking Moe. I'm gonna come back to you,
Okay.
Moondog.
All right.
I like cryptocurrency. I was introduced to it back when I was working on my movie called Angel Horror Film. One of the guys quit on the last day, right? And he came back, he said, I'm getting into Bitcoin. I said, what? What is that? He said, man, give me $1,200 and I'll get you in. But I didn't know what he was doing, you know? So I didn't hop in right then, but I kind of watched him, and he built a fortune. I'm talking about, he got the machines, and he was making pennies every minute, pennies and pennies. And then he got another machine and another, and he just kept growing his cryptocurrency. Now he's like multi-millionaire in crypto. And
But just like a lot of things on the internet, it's still based upon something created out of basically digital spots on the World Wide Web that they put value on. That doesn't scare you a little bit? Just like some of these other things?
not really, because I always thought of the internet as real estate, and that we were creating a digital footprint when we post pictures and videos on there. And my goal was to always grow my digital footprint. So, I mean, you want to grow your cryptocurrency.
You got to take a little risk to get ahead. I mean, you got to branch out sometimes where no one has gone before. Brother Moondog, I'm sorry. Share with that. I hope I didn't cut your point off.
No, man, you cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a thing, you know, as I always said. But when we're talking about these things, we're talking about security. I think over the last month or so, Google Chrome had a lot of security situation with it, and even Google itself sent out some type of message talking about how Chrome has been under attack. But we start talking about this digital space. We talk the World Wide Web. To me, when it really started booming, was when they started making MP3s. We went from using CDs to 8-tracks, and now we got MP3s, and we got our music. We're able to trade music, share music with our friends without actually having a physical media, right? But at the same time,
isn't it at MP4 now? Don't I see that?
Oh yeah. We got MP4s where they doing picture files, movie files, video files, and things like that. And at the same time, we talking. Go ahead.
I just want to say it's so much though. It's so much that it overwhelms sometimes, and that's why we're having this conversation. That's why it's so important to share what we know and to try to be up on new trends, because scared or not, don't want to get involved or not, don't want to have nothing to do with it or not, it is here. It's something that we got to deal with, and we need to be on the cutting edge as the world grows into this new digital platform. Basically, it's already here. It's just becoming much more refined. So yes, I mean, if we're scared, we still got to go forward with it. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, continue.
Okay, just like we had the ringing telephone. We had the telephone with the cord. Now we got so-called smartphones at the same time. We got Siri, which is sort of like an AI. We also have NFTs. With NFT, which is non-fungible token, people are creating one-of-a-kind digital art and selling these things. And it's going for major dollars. I'm looking into how to create some NFTs right now and sell these things myself. So when we look at this digital universe, it's not going anywhere.
And what does the acronym mean? What was it you said?
NFT. It's called a non-fungible token. This is the definition of it. It is a unique and non-interchangeable unit of data stored on a digital ledger, aka blockchain. So the NFTs and the cryptocurrency, they go hand in hand, because actually a cryptocurrency, it actually uses the blockchain as well. So when we're looking at these things, we're actually sort of kind of able to create something from nothing, because a lot of things in the digital world aren't real, but at the same time, it is real. Just like your bank account. Your bank account, if you won $300 million, you're not going to have $300 physical million in your bank account. You're going to have those things, it's going to be digitized. So the digital situation has been here. And as far as jumping in and being afraid, don't jump into the deep end. Jump into the kiddie pool first, get your feet wet, get an understanding, get comfortable, and then start swimming out there and getting more knowledge about different things. It's just like how we used to go on a trip and use a physical map from a gas station to using GPS.
Go ahead.
It has to be done in increments. Don't just try to jump in and you'll drown too much.
Yes, I totally understand. There's so many things happening, even to jump into, I mean, it's like you got 25 different pools and each one is saying, hey, my water here is smoother and cooler. You need to jump into mine. You know, just like Brother Mo was saying, when he first heard about the Bitcoin, he said, what is that? You know, you pay attention to it, but it's still a little fearful, but we have to find a way to get our knowledge together, get our work together to be able to move forward. Brother Mo, let me go back to you on that. You gave us a link. What was that link you were sharing?
Well, Brother Moondog was talking about NFTs and how to get a product on there. That's the site to get it. You got to connect a wallet to it, and you can upload whatever you want to sell. So I got a cartoon figure of myself. That's what I'm selling on NFT right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead, Moondog.
No, I'll just tell them how awesome that was. And just like this, a few years ago, I've never even heard of Zoom. To me, Zoom just came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And now Zoom is like the platform for doing all of these meetings and things of that nature.
I go back to how we started. You know, we started in the studio, and, you know, I had people come into the studio, and, you know, we spent a lot of time, and they had to spend a lot of effort to come to the studio and so forth. And now we have this platform to be able to, and Brother Mo is in Vegas. I've had people on from Africa, and across the board in the virtual world, it makes things closer. You can deal with people from China. You can deal with people from Vietnam, across the world. I know when I play chess, I play people from all over the world and so forth. And that's where everything is going. The world is becoming one big melting pot and so forth. So, Brother Mo, how are you looking at using some of these new technology? I go back to the same question basically I started with. How are you looking at using some of these new technologies in your film work and in the things that you are presenting? Are you going to be utilizing different cameras, interchanging Zoom with your cameras? How are some of these things going to work?
Mostly, I'm gonna still create the product and then post it onto NFT where they can watch it. I want to get to that point where they can donate what they want NFT to watch it. You know what I mean? So and then I want to create other products as well, posters for each movie, T-shirts. I want to do electric cars and things like that. You know what I mean? I really like technology. So anything that I could use within the film, I'll probably get into.
Understood. You know, I was thinking of a concept of doing Zoom or whatever platform is available at the time when I get it ready, and trying to stream my video that I'm doing over all the live platforms, of course, and being able to reach many more people, because if you have YouTube, you do Zoom, of course, Facebook, it's a possibility of reaching a lot of people, but you still have to have a way to connect with them, because everybody doesn't go to the internet first. I mean, they have to have a reason to go there. They have to have something they're looking for. They're just not going to be searching and finding our material. So how can we find a way to even more get them to see what we are doing? And are you going to use technology to help you do that? Moondog, what you say about that?
I say that we have to use technology. The tools are there. It's not like, the tools are there. At the same time, we can use these tools, these platforms, and these different video conferencing situations to reach out. Once we reach out, all thing we gotta do is share with somebody, and that person can share with somebody, and that person can share with somebody. It's right there. All thing we gotta do is just click the share button, right? Or let somebody know what we're actually doing. A lot of times we are busy and we may forget to just reach out to our friends, coworkers, brothers, sisters, or family, let them know what we're doing. Sometimes people say, well, they should already know. No, they don't. You gotta let people know what's going on. And so when we find this technology, I call it YouTube University. YouTube basically tells you a lot of what to do. I've seen things on YouTube from fixing a sink to if your car making a certain noise, what this means, you can, and they actually break it down. So at this point, I'm like, if you don't know, you don't want to know.
True. The point I was getting at, though, you still have to have a combination of the physical and the virtual, in my opinion, because they have to have a reason to find that, and you have to have some kind of a process, even if it's just going out and passing out leaflets. Hey, check out my site. You know, you pass out 1,000 leaflets, maybe 100 people may take you up on that and so forth. And that's where the word of mouth starts growing. That's where those things start growing and becoming more aware for everybody. This is the Sourceseeker Hour. What I wanted to do is bring a couple of brothers together to talk about the new trends that are happening in technology and business and in the virtual world across the board. And I thank my brothers, brother Dwayne, Andre Moondog, and brother Moe Mccoy. Looked like you was trying to say something. You wanted to share something, brother Andre?
Yeah, also, when you were saying that physicalness, sometimes that in-person, passing out that leaflet, people will warm up to that more than you just popping up to their door and knock, you know what I'm saying, like a cold call. Meaning, if I'm advertising my business and you just see a text message out of nowhere, or you just get a call out of nowhere, but if I see you myself and I present who I am at the same time, and I give you that leaflet or that pamphlet or that flyer, now you're able to talk to me and get a better understanding. Because at the same time, who really likes having a cold call for a business or a situation as opposed to in the face? You can see my genuineness. and my passion in person. You can't really get there a lot of times, my facial expression things, because over a telephone call, you don't really get those things. So that's where that physical presence come in at. And
that
like you
will
say,
always be a part of growth. That'll always be a part of it. I think you, in some ways, have to start there and get people aware. That will always be a part of the progress or movement forward. So that's very important. I don't think we'll ever get away from that. But we do have to find ways. I know I've grown since I started doing the Sourceseeker Hour, because there are so many different things. Just with this presentation, there are ways to connect another cam to it and then have a whole lot of different streaming, different things. And I'm looking at all of these particular things now. And I know in your business, Brother Moe, there are different ways that you can add different things on your screen and different things. And all of these things are growing also, as well as ways to communicate, different ways to text, different ways to bring in all kinds of different technologies and things. I have a list of some of the things that they say are really going to be affected. Of course, they say climate. We just saw that there was a massive tornado in is it the Midwest? Well, it was Kentucky, Tennessee, a couple of more states, and they said there's going to be new ways of being able to tell before it happens. So technology is affecting that also. Delivery, we see that all the time. I mean, when I was growing up, I don't think we would have had a DoorDash or now Pizza Hut may have been doing it then, but there's so many different ways. They could track your product, your food from point A to point Z and everywhere in between. So you have all of those things. And quantum computing, they say that's going to be, I think that covers what you were talking about, blockchain, Web3, which is basically the connection of all of these things. They call it a Web3 from my research, where all things decentralized markets and products, they will be on this Web3. And then they said medicine would be affected by new technology. They talking about something called psychedelic medicine. I don't know if they're talking about within mental health or so forth, but they were saying all of these things are trending for 2022 and beyond. And of course, entertainment and communication are always going to be affected. Brother Moe, we are toward the end of our show. This is our 102nd show. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about these things, because when I first started, I had to hire somebody just to tell me about Zoom. I had to, because, and what I realized was they were not very far ahead of me. And I just started. That, I mean, seriously, by the time we had our meeting and, you know, I had paid them and so forth, I realized, wait a minute, y'all don't know very much more than I do. And so we are all at the cutting edge of these new things. And there's only a few experts out there. And, you know, they are at the head of the game, but there's still a whole lot of room to catch up and to be a part of it. Brother Moe, you have more comments or more before we get ready to finish?
Yeah, I just say, I always say this on my post, tap into what's going on, because it's coming and they ain't gonna stop.
And the link that you shared, tell us about that.
Yeah, I shared you the link to my YouTube channel. It's called Fireproof TV. You can click there, subscribe, and then check out a lot of our content. So tell us some of the things on your Fireproof TV channel that you share. Okay, well, every Friday we do a premiere of some content that we created here in Las Vegas. I got a team and we meet every Sunday and create content, and then we put it on the channel to come out Fridays.
Or is this something like, I guess like Issa Rae started? She started her program and then it took off, and then HBO bought it.
Yeah, basically these what we got coming out this Friday is a skit. It's a funny skit of a true story, and we just want to create together, in person. You know what I mean? Filmmakers coming together here in Las Vegas and putting some content together, because you can talk about it or you can do it, and this is the result of us doing it. You know what I mean? This one that's coming out is called Crackhead Uncle. You gotta watch it.
Uncle.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's funny, but it's a true story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine the story. I've seen a few stories and had a few experiences, so I can imagine. Audience, y'all should look forward to that. Check that out and so forth.
Yeah, check it out.
Brother Moondog, tell us some of the things that you're doing as we get ready to end. I'm gonna give everybody a final minute to close up, but tell us some of the things you're doing.
Okay. Right now, we're getting ready to start our second season of our podcast. We're going to talk about everything from politics to religion to.
Tell us where they can find it again.
Oh, here we go. The Moondog38732show.com, the Moondog38732 show at YouTube, and the Moondog38732 show on Instagram and Facebook. So we're about to tap into some of these things that a lot of people may feel that's uncomfortable and may not want to touch on, but at the same time, if we don't go ahead and have a conversation, what we're going to do is sweep it on the rug and wait for it to pop up on us. Just like with the Web 3.0, a student told me about Web 3.0 last week. I didn't even know about it until a student told me. So I'm trying to tap into the youth. I'm trying to tap into some of the older generation, and we're trying to have conversations about what's really going on.
Totally true. It's so much out there. We just got to be open and keep having conversations. That's one of the things that we like to do on Sourceseeker. We want to have those uncomfortable conversations, but we also want to be enlightened and illuminated to new things happening. We want to see and know and get to understand new challenges, new things happening. And that's what we're about on the Sourceseeker Hour, and that's what a part of what I'm about. And I thank both you gentlemen for sharing with us. Brother Moe, you have a final comment for us?
Yeah, just make sure you subscribe to our channel, Fireproof TV on YouTube, and
tell us some of the actors that you've met or been worked with before. Tell us some people that you've met and seen or been around. You mentioned Wachowski. I think that's how you pronounce her name. The lady from the Matrix.
Yeah. I met her when I filmed my movie, The Bad Boxer. I met Floyd Mayweather Sr., Justin Mayweather, he's the star of the movie. Boo Capone, he's out of California. He's a comedian, actor / rapper from the West Side Connection, and hilarious. Freeway Ricky.
Let me ask this: if somebody got a script or if somebody wants to produce a movie, can they come talk to you?
Yes, absolutely. We produce all. That's the main thing we produce is movies, and we have a price menu, and we got a budget. We got it down to the lowest price you can make a movie. You know what I mean? So once we see a script, we can determine if we can do it within that price range. But if there's special effects and more than that, then it'll go up.
See, audience, we have a producer right here. So you've been wanting to make that movie. You have that criticism, think you can do it better. There's your brother right there. Yes, thank you, brother. And tell us again how they can reach you and so forth. One more time.
I'm on all social media platforms as Moe Mccoy. I'm on LinkedIn, Moe Mccoy, Facebook, Moe Mccoy. And I like Instagram a lot. I am on TikTok as well. So, but I'd like to send all the traffic to my YouTube channel on Fireproof TV.
Sounds powerful. Thank you, brother, as always. Thank you very much. And this has been very enlightening. Brother Moondog, take us out, give us that final word, and tell us how they can reach you and watch what you do.
Here we go. Just hit me up at the Moondog 38732 show at YouTube. Like Brother Mo said, that's where I hit first. I'm also the same thing at Facebook, the Moondog 38732 show, Instagram, TikTok, all those things. But to finally put it out there, the digital world isn't going anywhere. It's only getting bigger. Let's go ahead, tap into it, and let's use it as a tool and a venue to help us out. Ain't I used to being scared of it? Let's go ahead and make, but at the same time, you have to be careful. If you can be scammed over a phone, you can be scammed over the internet. So let's not, come on now, let's use the common sense with this thing too. And with that being said, man, I'd like to thank Brother Baruti for inviting me on. And as always, man, it's a beautiful thing. Please log in and chime in with the Sourceseeker.
I thank you very much. And this is the Sourceseeker Hour. I thank my guests. And this has been that's a part of what we do. We want to be enlightened. We want to be informed. And we want to keep getting knowledge and doing our best to stay up and to share and shine that brighter light. We want to shine that brighter light to help everybody to see things better and do things better. I'm your host, Baruti Carl Alexander. This is the Sourceseeker Hour. I thank you all. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.